Greetings and Happy New Year, friends. This is Jim Orbe and welcome again to Pathways of Hope. Today we celebrate Epiphany of the Lord. This is also called the Feast of Epiphany or Theophany, or popularly known as Three Kings Day. From the Greek word epiphania, meaning manifestation, the Christian holiday commemorates the first manifestation of Jesus Christ to the Gentiles, represented by the Magi, or the wise men. Our gospel reading for today is taken from Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 to 12. This is the account of the evangelist Matthew, highlighting God's sovereign care in this infancy account of Jesus the King. Here, Matthew introduces two consisting or contrasting responses to the Messiah. On the one hand, the Gentile Magi from the east seek the newborn king of the Jews in order to do him homage. On the other hand, Herod and his court seek the Christ child in order to destroy him. Surprisingly, even the chief priests and scribes are associated with Herod's efforts to locate Christ and bring him to his ruin. Thus, at the very beginning of Jesus' life, the ones we would least expect, who are the Gentile Magi, welcome Israel's Messiah, while some of Christ's own people play a role in the plot against him. This ironic pattern will be repeated many times throughout his public ministry. The word Magi originally described members of the Median and Persian priestly caste who advised the king and interpreted dreams. The term later was used more broadly to denote those who possess mystical knowledge as priests, astrologers, soothsayers, or sages. Their popular association with kings today may be based on Old Testament passages that recount kings bringing gifts to the royal Davidic son. That's what our responsorial psalm in Psalm 72 expresses. It says, "All nations shall prostrate before you, O Lord. The kings of Tarshish and the sea coast shall pay him tribute. The kings of Sheba and Seba shall bring him gifts. Before him, kings shall fall prostrate, all nations shall serve him. And they offer gifts of gold and frankincense, as also described by the prophet Isaiah in our first reading today from Isaiah chapter 60. Verses 3 to 6 says, "Above you the Lord now rises, and above you his glory appears. The nations come to your light, and kings to your dawning brightness. Lift up your eyes and look around. All are assembling and coming towards you. Your sons from far away, and your daughters being tenderly carried. At this sight, you will go radiant, your heart throbbing and full, since the riches of the sea will flow to you. The wealth of the nations come to you. Camels in throngs will cover you, and dromedaries of Midian and Ephah. Everyone in Sheba will come, bringing gold and incense and singing the praise of the Lord." According to a Catholic commentary on sacred scriptures on the Gospel of Matthew, written by Curtis Mitch and Edward Sri, in the Jewish tradition, they said Magi would bring to mind the opponents of Daniel in Babylon, who were associated with enchanters and sorcerers and claimed to interpret dreams and signs. Hence, one would not expect Magi from the East to be among the first to pay homage to the Jewish Messiah. This account thus sets up a theme that will be repeated throughout Matthew's Gospel, that Israel's king is welcomed by those one would least expect, while Jewish leaders work against him. There's a sermon by Saint Peter Chrysologus, or a church father, translated in Office of Readings for Christmas season, that beautifully describes the feast for this Sunday. He said, to quote, "Today the Magi find crying in a manger the ones they have followed as he shone in the sky, or as he shone in the sky, excuse me. Today the Magi see clearly, in swaddling clothes, the one they have long awaited as he lay hidden among the stars. Today the Magi gaze in deep wonder at what they see. Heaven on earth, in earth in heaven, man in God, God in man. One whom the whole universe cannot contain, now enclosed in a tiny body. As they look, they believe and do not question, as their symbolic gifts bear witness. Incense for God, gold for a king, myrrh for one who is to die. So the Gentiles who were the last become the first. The faith of the Magi, he said, is the first fruits of the belief of the Gentiles." End quote. A number of church fathers marveled over the faith of the Magi, who through human eyes, or though you through human eyes, see only an ordinary child in Bethlehem, but by faith see so much more. They fall down and worship God in human flesh and offer gifts of gold for his kingship, frankincense for his divinity, and myrrh for his humanity. This is the type of response we should have been today, even today when we meet Jesus in the Eucharist. Though with the eyes of our bodies, we see what appears to be only bread, with eyes of faith, we know it to be the very body of our Lord. The Council of Trent mentions the Magi's worship of the Christ child as model for our adoring him in the Eucharist. To quote, it says, "For in this sacrament, we believe that the same God is present, whom the eternal Father brought into the world. It is the same God whom the Magi fell down and worshiped." Close quote. So we, like the Magi, can show Jesus great reverence when we kneel before his real presence in the Eucharist. We too can bring him gifts, perhaps not gold, frankincense, and myrrh, but the gifts of our hearts in praise and thanksgiving, which would be, according to Saint Gregory of Nazianzen, great spiritual gifts, more sublime than those which can be seen with eyes. God bless you in this coming year, and may the Lord's spiritual gifts be upon you all.